Good morning. We can see our participants logging in. We have quite a number now. We'll just give one more minute to make sure that we have a full room for this exciting session this morning. We welcome all of you, and we will be starting shortly. Okay, I was hoping we would get to 100, and we are at a good number now. So good morning once again to all of our participants, and thank you very much for joining us. Our esteemed customers, Managing Director of Ecobank Uganda, Grace Mulisa, Managing Director, Ecobank Tanzania, Charles Asiedu, Group Head of Trade, Suleiman Dian, and Group Trade Team present. Ecobank Kenya Executive Director and Director CMB EAC, Samuel Odhiambo, Regional Director of Treasury, Suleiman Mohammed, Ecobankers from across East Africa, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all of you. Good morning, East Africa, and welcome to the EAC Ecobank Single Market Trade Hub webinar. My name is Wangari Ngugi, and I am the Group Head of Marketing. And today, it gives me great pleasure to be your host for this insightful session. We are indeed delighted to have each and every one of you join us today. This webinar marks the third episode of our Africa Continental Free Trade Area series themed Powering the Vision of One African Market. In a continent that is becoming increasingly interconnected, Inter-Africa trade has emerged as a powerful driver of economic growth and prosperity. It's a phenomenon that brings countries and communities together, fostering cooperation and opening doors to new opportunities. Today, we gather here to explore the importance of intra-Africa trade and its impact on global economies. During the next 90 minutes, we delve into the intricacies of intra-Africa trade, examining its benefits, challenges, and the potential solutions while leveraging our newly launched Single Market Trade Hub. We have assembled a panel of distinguished trade experts, not only from East Africa, but across the continent, who will share their valuable insights and experiences on this matter. Throughout our discussion, we will address key questions, such as what opportunities exist for intra-Africa trade? How can countries in East Africa foster a favorable business environment within their regions? What are the main obstacles to regional trade integration, and how can we overcome them? These are just a few of the topics we will explore as we aim to deepen our understanding of the potential and challenges of intra-Africa trade. We believe that the webinar will provide you with valuable knowledge, practical strategies, and fresh perspectives that can be applied to your own businesses, policies, and research initiatives. It is our goal today to equip you with the tools and insights necessary to navigate the complex landscape of regional trade and capitalize on its immense potential in EAC. I encourage each of you to actively participate in our discussions. Share your thoughts, Ask questions. Our experts are here to engage with you, and we value your contributions as we aim to foster an interactive and enriching experience for everyone involved. Please use the Q&A section, type in your questions and comments throughout the series so that we can be able to give you the responses that you require. Once again, I extend my warmest welcome to all our esteemed participants. Together, let us embark on this journey of exploring intra-Africa trade, understanding its dynamics for us in the region, and unlocking its vast possibilities. Thank you for joining us. I hope you find this webinar truly valuable and inspiring. And now, I would like to welcome our first speaker, Suleiman Mohammed, who is the Director of Treasury for Kenya and the East African region, to deliver the opening remarks on behalf of our regional executive, Josephine Nanana Nkoma, who couldn't be with us today. Suleiman, you're most welcome.
Thank you, Wangari. Thank you very much. Our esteemed customers, honored guests, colleagues from Ecobank, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Mohammed Suleiman. I'm the Director of Treasury. I look after the Treasury business in Kenya and in the EAC. It's my pleasure to warmly welcome you to our webinar today on behalf of Madam Nana Nkoma Josephine, our MD and Regional Executive for CISA, who sends her apologies. This webinar is about, like Wangari said, introducing our Ecobank Single Market Trade Hub with a special focus on the East African region. As part of our strategy intent to position Ecobank as the go-to bank for the African Continental Free Trade Area, EFCFTA, Ecobank Single Market Trade Hub was developed in 2022 and officially launched last month on the 1st of June. The Trade Hub is a digital platform which offers the following. Firstly, it features one-stop information repository about the EFCFTA. You can find here all sorts of information. Secondly, and most importantly, it's a gateway for exploring intra-African trade opportunities. Through My Trade Hub, we enable you, our customers, to easily find and compare offers from suppliers or potential clients within the rest of Africa. Thirdly, the platform gives access to Ecobank relevant products and services like payment, loans, advisory to help you close the transaction. Although the Trade Hub is non-transactional, the Single Market Trade Hub provides access to the key market information and financing banking services at the same time. Since its launch across our 33 markets in Africa, we witness steady growth as more than 500 clients have onboarded on the platform, with Ecobank Kenya leading the pack. This could not have been possible without you heeding our call to register on this new and exciting platform. I want to sincerely thank you for this, and at the same time, urge you to encourage your regional business counterpart to join the platform. It's worth noting that My Trade Hub is an open platform to both Ecobank customers and non-Ecobank customers. The East African community is one of the most attractive trading zones on the African Economic Community, with a combined population of over 280 million people. This huge population offers a vibrant and an attractive market, which, when properly leveraged, could accrue great benefit to the member countries. According to the East African community, the intra-EAC trade accounting for import and export in the 7 EAC partner states grew from 13% in 2019 at the value of 7.1 billion US dollars to a 20% share of intra-trade to global trade by September 2022 at a value of 10.1 billion. This increase has partly been attributed to political goodwill among the EAC members and the relaxation of the COVID-19 restriction in the region, amongst other factors. This means that EAC partners are ready to trade with each other and through forums like what we have today. On our call today, we will explore how Ecobank is facilitating this. In each of our 33 countries where we operate, we offer comprehensive trade solutions to our customers using various payment methods to facilitate cross-border, international, and domestic trade. We offer unique intra-Africa trade solution, enabling our customer to settle their domestic and international trade transaction efficiently while mitigating payment risk. Ecobank works closely with clients in reviewing the key aspects of transaction processing, including settlement, financing risk, mitigation, credit enhancement, and applicable exchange control regulation. Our trade product and solution are therefore designed around 3 broad areas: structured trade and commodity financing, import-export finance facilities, pre- and post-shipment receivable bills, discount, and others. Trade services, import-export letters of credit and collections, bill availabilization, SBLC, and others. I can therefore confidently say that Ecobank comprehensive suite of trade finance solution, advisory services, and range of additional initiatives boost the trade potential of businesses and position us as the bank of choice for trade finance in Africa. I encourage all of you and each of you to fully immerse yourself in today's discussion. I invite all of you not only to listen, but also actively engage with our speakers and fellow participants. Feel free to ask questions and share your thoughts. It's therefore my great pleasure to declare this webinar officially open. Let's embark on the exciting learning adventure today. Thank you very much, and back to you.
Thank you very much for that very, very warm and official introduction to the webinar this morning. I think that this is a good time for us to ask our participants to watch the video that we have prepared for them that gives more insights into how Ecobank is powering the new African single market. Please take a few minutes to enjoy this video that gives us more insights into the single market trade hub that we will be discussing today. Wow, and it's very exciting indeed. There is an opportunity to seize the opportunities that are in the environment of intra-Africa trade. Next, we will hear from Suleiman Dian, who is the Group Head of Trade and is going to articulate further the value proposition of the Single Market Trade Hub. Suleiman, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Wangari, and again, a warm welcome to all our participants. I would like to take a moment to basically go back into why we are getting into this webinar, and more specifically talk about the AFCFTA, which is the African Continental Free Trade Area. As you probably know, this was an initiative under the Agenda 2063, the Africa we want, and was basically a key pillar that the African Union has actually identified as a key pillar to developing Africa. So this was launched in Kigali at the Extraordinary Summit of the African Union in 2018. And later operationalized in 2021. The main objective is basically to establish a common market across our continent, and up to now 54 countries have actually signed up this agreement with an objective to reduce tariffs over 90% of goods and services. So the key objective is to basically ensure that we foster intra-Africa trade within the continent. And the objective is clear, and I want to basically identify for you some of the key expected outcomes. When some of the studies came out, it was very clear that when we create a single market, we are talking about 1.4 billion people, this would basically come to play in terms of economies of scale. So being able to scale a market would allow, obviously, investment into the market and allow the opportunities across the entire continent. So this is the first point in terms of the ability of scaling and being able to diversify our economic landscape. The second point is regarding the shift between the old paradigm of exporting natural resources in raw form and commodities in raw form to going back to now adding value before export. Because studies have also shown that when we add value before we export, obviously the economic welfare is improved within the continent. A very important point as well. The second item to look at is also the impact in terms of regional value chain. And this is a very important aspect, given that most of you are probably SMEs looking at how to expand your markets and how to explore additional value chains. So this would also basically enlarge the landscape in terms of market access, especially for SMEs, but also to larger corporations. The objective is that, therefore, to bring the intra-Africa trade percentage from an average of 17% to somewhere around 35 to 50%. And again, with the objective of adding value within the continent before exporting outside the continent. Last but not least, when we look at the continent, it's very important to understand that we have the ability to increase value before we export. So within the knowledge of all these expected advantages, and given Ecobank's footprint across 33 markets in Africa, and across those 33 markets, we also have more than 30 million clients. We said to ourselves, what do we do to make sure that we bring value to our customer base and even to our non-customer base? And this is where we came up with this concept on the single market trade hub, which I would now let my colleague Omar Sangare, in charge of structured trade and commodity finance, go through the concept and how it can basically help you bring value to your business And together we can win within this new paradigm. So Umar, I'll leave you the floor.
Thank you very much, Suleiman. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Very happy to be here with you today. So first of all, I'd like to touch on Ecobank's value proposition with regards to the AFCFTA that Suleiman just touched on. So as mentioned, the AFCFTA offers a immense opportunity for African businesses like yourselves to expand your market reach. So with our largest footprint within Africa, being present across 33 countries and 30 million clients, the Ecobank Group aims to become the preferred financial institution for intra-Africa trade payments, financing, and investments for both our corporates and SME clients. So in terms of value proposition, what do we have to offer? First of all, we use our network advantage that we just touched on to facilitate domestic and cross-border payments while providing our clients like yourself with appropriate trade finance solutions across key regional corridors. We also support state parties on infrastructure and development projects targeted at export trade development, trade facilitation, and we also foster, by doing so, foreign direct investments across all sectors. We also partner with correspondent banks and DFI to provide customized financial services while providing our clients market access by reducing the asymmetry of information and fostering intra-African trade. So in terms of products that we can provide you to help you grow your business, we have cross-border payments. We have the single market trade hub that we will basically show to you today. We have African currencies, FX solutions. We have intra-Africa LC confirmation and discounting lines. We also offer anchor-based supply chain finance solutions. And we also have capital expenditure financing. So now about the Ecobank Single Market Trade Hub. What is the Ecobank Single Market Trade Hub? The Single Market Trade Hub serves two main purposes. The first one is that it's an information repository. So it is a one-stop source of knowledge and information to familiarize Africa businesses about the AFCFTA, as well as provide access to Ecobank's expertise. So when you log on to the website, My Trade Hub, you can find information about the AFCFTA. You can find information such as who are the member states, how can you navigate the AFCFTA as a business, and how can Ecobank assist through its products and solutions. The second purpose of the Trade Hub, and that's the most important one, is that it's a matchmaking portal. So businesses like yourself that are looking to sell or import goods and services beyond your domestic market can create and upload a profile on My Trade Hub. Once you do so, a match can be found on the platform and Ecobank can assist with the matchmaking. So how does it work? So basically, if you're a business, let's say in Kenya, that is producing tea and you're looking to export within the EAC region or even beyond, let's say to Nigeria or Ghana, what you can do is create the profile of your company, upload your profile, and basically showcase the products that you have. So you can say, I am a producer of green tea. You can basically display how much quantity you have and also display the prices that you have. On the other hand, somebody who is sitting in Tanzania or in Nigeria who is looking to import tea will actually go on My Trade Hub and search for all the tea exporters. And there will be a match between what they're looking for and the products that you're offering that are being showcased on My Trade Hub. And at this point, the Ecobank relationship manager will reach out to both parties and helps you establish contacts. So as I mentioned, it works both ways. If you're looking to import, let's say you're in Uganda and you're looking to import fertilizer, what you can do is go on My Trade Hub and type fertilizer. And basically what will happen is that you will see all the companies that are exporting fertilizer within the 33 countries where we're present. And once you find a match that fits basically your requirements, then we will help you establish contact with the other party to basically make the transaction happen. So Ecobank will facilitate the transaction through its products and services that I just mentioned. And one point that is important to mention is that my trade hub is non-transactional. So no payments or settlements will be done on the platform. However, we will assist you to get you through this transaction and help you with the products and services that we offer. Now I would hand it over to Mr. Humphrey Ngondo. We will take you through the hub's look and feel. So Humphrey, over to you.
Yes, thank you, man. Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, participants. I'll take you through the look and feel of this platform. And at the end, I'll try to do a short demo. So, let's go. Like mentioned by my colleagues before, this platform has two major purposes. It's an information repository and a matchmaking portal. We have actually 4 sections on the portal. 3 of them are information repository sections, and 1 is for the matchmaking. The first section there is about AFCFTA. If you go there, you will see all the information on AFCFTA. We even plan to have a link to the AFCFTA Secretariat, where we can have information directly. We go through our portal to get to go to the AFCFTA site. It also tells you the purpose and what AFC is all about. And it gives you all the member states of AFCFTA, including Ecobank present countries. Then it tells you on how we can. It tells you on how we can use the platform. Then you have the section on news and events. You have a section on resources. On resources, you have an FAQ, which we call frequently asked questions, where we try to educate our clients or non-clients, the population, on trade activities, trade information, AFC information, and all news that's relevant to the trade business. On the resources section, you also have an Ecobank online form, and we also have the user manual guide, which you can use it and help yourself to go through this portal on your own without any assistance. On the next slide. Okay, I'll take you through this onboarding journey of a client. This is actually now I'm going to my trade hub, which is the matchmaking portal. The client onboarding journey is in 2 phases: your profile creation and your product registration. So if you're registering, remember this for both Ecobank and non-clients. The profile creation has 2 sections: the individual information, personal information, the ID card, the personal details of the person representing the company, and then you have the company information. For non-clients, you have to go to the system and log in and put in and upload all the necessary information, both personal information.
Apologies, participants. We seem to be having some technical challenges. We hope that it will pick up in the next few seconds. Omar, if you don't mind, I think the technical challenges have taken longer to resolve. Would you mind continuing with this part of the presentation?
Sure, until Humphrey is back. So basically, we were discussing the onboarding process. So when it's a new registration, what happens is that when you log onto the site, it will ask you. Humphrey, are you back?
Yes, sorry. Yes.
Okay, please proceed.
Okay. So as you get into register, we're talking about the clients and non-clients. For the clients, for the non-clients, you need full information on personal data and company registration. For clients, you need only personal data because your company registration documents, we already have it in the bank before your account was opened. If you go to the onboarding process, you start creating your profile. They'll ask you first the country in which you are, because it's all countries. When you click your country, it will ask you whether you're a client or a non-client. If you're a client, it will ask you whether you want to get your notification through SMS or through email. And this is information prior, which we already have in the system to authenticate that you are the real person. So once you send SMS, the number that Ecobank has in its system, that's where you have your one-time OTP notification. Next slide. So for personal, for once you do your personal information, you now go to company details, which has to do with your business registration and tax information. But all that has come for companies, for clients, we already have it. For non-clients, you have to put it there. And once you put in all the information, on the next slide, you will have the next page. You will see where you have to sign and accept our conditions. Once you finish this process, it means that you have created your profile on the platform. Now it comes to Ecobank, and within 24 hours, you'll be validated by Ecobank staff, because we control to make sure that you put in the right information. We have the right people. We have gone through our basic KYC controls, so that we know that anybody on the platform is a genuine person. On the next slide. So once you're finished with the profile creation, we now go to product registration. This is where it becomes interesting. So you can be an importer, you can be an exporter, you can register a product, and you can register a service. So if you're registering a product, you have basic information like product type, the quantity available, the countries in which you can provide the services, the price, which is definitely not, which is just an indicative price, because you're not going to pay on this platform, and how you measure it. On the next slide. Okay, so once you do the product registration, you put all these details, and Ecobank staff will validate it. We'll make sure we'll do the basic controls to show that whatever is there makes sense. You don't come and you should not be selling coffee and you're loading a gun on the system, or you're selling tea and you're selling images of zinc. So do some basic verifications, validate it. And once that's validated, it means that you are registered in the system. You can be an importer, you can be an exporter, you are registered as an importer and an exporter. So for an exporter, you're going to showcase your products. For an importer, you're going to find opportunities. Uma, go next slide. Okay, here, once you have registered, you can come into the platform now it's your space, it's your trading space now. You can come there and do searches, you can come there and to launch your products, and then so this is how you log in. You have your password, you get in your email address, and you have a notification in your on your SMS or email, which will allow you to get into your trading space. Next slide. Okay. Here is the customer. This is somebody who's an importer. You can see his activities. You can see a lot of what you've done. This customer has not registered any product. He's an importer. He's registered, he's created his profile, but he wants to look for goods. Omar, go to the next slide. Once you get in there, you have about 4 boxes. You have where you can register as a seller, so you can register as a buyer, so you can modify your product. So once you register your product, you may come the next day and say, okay, I want to change what I registered, I want to change the price, or my goods has changed, maybe the newest version, the newest model of what you can modify. Or you can do a search. Omar, go next slide. Here is a search. If you search, you can say, when you're searching, we have different criteria to search. You may search agricultural products. You may search, you may use the country. Maybe I want goods that are supplied in Kenya. You may search using the type of the product. So that we have very many criteria, many options to use it to make a search, to make your search as much as you want. You can broaden it, you can narrow it, but it's very flexible. Oma, next slide. So here, this is an example of somebody who's trying to make a search of goods that are delivered in Kenya. That's Kenya. So Oma, go next slide, you see what we have there. So here you can see there's some people who are supplying cocoa to Kenya. You can see people who are supplying maize to Kenya, who are supplying petroleum products to Kenya. On the platform, if you open it, there are many more products you can see, but at a glance, you can see only about 4 or 5 products there. It's also worth mentioning that for most such goods, if your goods are always being searched, it will stay on a platform for next 3 or 4 days. So it's going to be like you're going to do advertisement for you. The goods that are most searched always stay on a platform, and it's dynamic. Once other goods become the most searched goods, it changes. So it's a very, very good avenue for showcasing your products. Can I go to the next slide? Okay. What the previous slide was showing a search. This customer went through a search, saw a product that was coming to Kenya, and that was a honey. He clicked the details of the honey. You can see here that this person is supplying honey from Ghana, and it was applied to all the countries mentioned above. At the bottom, you see contact owner. So the client will now click contact. If you click on contact owner, immediately, this is what you're doing what we call a match. When you say click owner, you receive a mail from Ecobank saying that you have a response within 48 hours. Within this period, Ecobank internal staff will just make sure do a basic verification to make sure that it makes sense. It's a genuine match. Once you validate it, the other person on the other side will receive your contacts, and both of you will be in contact immediately. But because Ecobank staff are also involved, the RMs or Ecobank staff in both affiliates or CVCM affiliate will make sure they put all the buyer and the seller in contact and follow it up, monitor you, guide you to make sure the transaction is being closed. Though not on this same platform, but they will use our Ecobank products or our Ecobank payment systems, suite of products to make sure that this deal can aid you and guide you so we can close your deal in the most convenient manner. Oma, next slide. And yes, so when you say contact owner, you receive this message. Offer owner contact request submitted successfully. Great job. You have successfully submitted request to contact an offer, and you receive the reference number appears there, and you receive confirmation from Ecobank within 48 hours. So that's you have done a match. A buyer has come to the system, looked for a product, and successfully seen what they wanted. And with this message, behind the scenes, both customers are in contact and they can close their deal. Oma, go to the next slide. Now, I'm just coming in here as customers or even as staff, anybody, once you get to the platform, you can have various sections where you can navigate and really exploit and see what our platform offers. Here you can see 4 boxes. You can see if you open at one glance, you can see all the products that can offer. People are registered as products. You can see you have a search button, you have the match section where you can see all the goods on offer, all the goods on sale. And then you also have trade information, as general information, sellers and buyers. I'm going to go to next slide. Here is somebody who clicked on the match. You can see on this screen a screen called offer for sale. At a glance, you can see about 10 offers for sale here, but there are more. If you scroll down, you can see green tea from Kenya, you can see mazia from Ghana, you can see from Tanzania, you can see from Cote d'Ivoire, from Nigeria. These are all clients who have come and put in their products for sale, for offer for sale. I'm going to go to the next slide.
We seem to have lost the sound from Humphrey. Omar, would you like to take over?
Yes, so essentially that brings us to the end of the presentation. But basically, the Trade Hub is a user-friendly platform where you can showcase your products and basically expand your market reach beyond your domestic market. So you would have access to potential clients all across our footprints. And basically, you can also source goods from all these countries as well. So it's a powerful and easy gateway to explore continental trade opportunities across Africa, and it will help you match with potential trading partners and grow within the new African single market. So,
sorry.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Connection issues. Sorry about that.
Yes.
Okay, so Omar, if we're done with the slides, I'll try to do a short demo here to try to just show the look and feel of the platform. Okay. Let me share my screen. Are you guys seeing my screen?
Yes, Humphrey, please proceed.
Okay, so you can see this is the landing page of the platform. You have about AFCFTA here. You have my trade up, news and events.
Sorry, Humphrey.
Yes.
Sorry about that. We can't see your screen now.
Are you seeing it?
Yes, but not yet the appropriate slide. Perfect. Go ahead.
Okay. Here you can see news and events about Ecobank. You can see Group CEO, President Group CEO for my Group CEO and other events concerning Ecobank and the FCFTA. Here, if you go to My Trade Hub, which is the most important, here, this is where you have this area space. On this thing,
Unfortunately, we seem to be having issues with the network. I think we'll be able to look through the demo at another time when the network stabilizes. So yes, so far we have heard a very exciting presentations highlighting how Ecobank is empowering the single market trade hub. And this is leads us to now look into how is this going to impact on traders in the East African market, and more specifically, how is it going to impact on trade in Uganda? And we have the privilege of having our managing director of Ecobank Uganda with us today. She is going to highlight for us some of the trade opportunities that are present in Uganda and give our participants who are with us today from Uganda more perspective into how they can take advantage of the single market trade hub to enhance their trade activities in EAC. Grace, you're most welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Wangari. Good morning, colleagues. Good morning to our dear customers online this morning. Allow me to quickly start off with some facts or a brief about Uganda before I go into what I see as opportunities. First is that Uganda itself is a regional hub based on the fact that we are right at the center of the East African community. By the nature of our location, we are land-linked and we connect all the 7 countries within East Africa.
Unfortunately, we seem to have lost the sound from our MD in Uganda. We will give her a few seconds to see whether she can reconnect. And maybe as we do that, we can dive. Grace, are you back with us?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, please proceed.
My sincere apologies. So good morning once again, dear participants and to our customers. Just allow me to start off with some brief facts about Uganda. That Uganda in itself today is a regional hub based on our location, which is at the center of the 7 East African countries. We're essentially landlocked as a country. And what that means is that we connect the rest of East African countries, which is, and I'll start with the latest, which is DR Congo, Burundi, South Sudan, Rwanda, Tanzania, and of course, Kenya. So Uganda currently has the highest percentage of exports going through sub-Saharan Africa. It is estimated to be about $2.6 billion, according to the World Bank. Uganda currently has significant oil and gas opportunity, which impacts the rest of the region, and notably the East African crude oil pipeline, or ECO, as it were, and of course the oil and gas value chain, which is estimated to be about $15 billion. The pipeline itself will be connecting Uganda to Port Tanga through Tanzania, with future plans to extend the pipeline to DR Congo. So this has been going on at least for the last about 7 or 10 years, and we know the potential, the opportunity that is coming with that. So Uganda has a growing mining sector at the moment on the back of better developed natural resources, notably the rare earth minerals. We're talking about iron ore at the moment. We're talking about phosphate, gold, platinum, marble, limestone, copper, and cobalt. Uganda is open and secure as a market for foreign investment. And I think currently, and across all the sectors, currently we have a fully liberalized economy for investment, where you can actually have 100% foreign owned or ownership permitted. The macroeconomic environment has been stable. We have seen inflation averaging under 5% over the last 10 years. Uganda has has been growing as far as the population is concerned. The second or third fastest growing within the world, with population growing at about 3.5% or so. But also when you look at the quality of our population, about 70% of the population is under 25. So that means that we will create a very big market for this region, for the continent very soon. There is, in terms of the currency has been stable, but more importantly, Uganda has a large trade opportunity with about $7.9 billion in terms of the import bill. And this is mainly oil and gas, which constitutes about, or oil and gas, including petroleum and petroleum products, which is about 21%. Machinery and vehicles, again, which is about the same percentage. Chemicals and production, raw materials, which is about 11%. Processed foods and beverages, which is about 10%. And minerals, metals, and plastics, which is about 18%. So you find that only 20% of the 7.9 billion is inter-Africa trade, leaving about $1.6 billion in terms of the opportunity to grow, leaving about $6.4 billion in terms of what would call intra-Africa or inter-Africa trade opportunity. So currently 55% of what, of course, we source today is from Asia, 25% is from the Middle East, and the fastest growing at the moment. So clearly there is an opportunity as far as intra-Africa trade, given the numbers that we are looking at in terms of the markets. And today what we see is that within East Africa alone, there's quite a lot of flows in terms of imports. And I think the largest for us, of course, is Kenya for obvious reasons. About $716 million is imports from Kenya, followed by Tanzania, again, for obvious reasons, given the fact that the community is mature in these three countries. So 521 million comes from Tanzania. Now, you have DR Congo at the moment at 67, but you will be amazed to see that today we actually export most to DR Congo as a country, which is $554 million in terms of what we do export. That is followed by Kenya, which is, we have Kenya leading at $628 million, apologies, followed by DR Congo, which is $554 million. And we have South Sudan, which is $457 million. And Tanzania, which is 118, and clearly there is an opportunity for us. And of course, Rwanda at less than 100, and Burundi combined less than 200, about $150 million. So in terms of the opportunity, we see quite a lot, even within the core East African countries, but of course with potential across the rest of the blocks when we talk about COMESA or when we talk about SADC. There are a number of opportunities. So just quickly to go through what we see as opportunities, I'll start off with manufacturing. So today, manufacturing offers a wide range of opportunities for East Africa to start with, West African partner states. The region is currently a net importer of manufactured products, such as machinery and transport equipment. So I do believe that by offering incentives such as zero rating of various raw materials, manufacturing incentives, the East African partner countries can actually benefit from the opportunity that we see in the manufacturing space. To start with, agriculture, for the longest time, I think, and in a way that is not structured at the moment, but with potential to structure that. Throughout East Africa, agriculture contributes more than 30% of the GDP, and it employs the highest number of population. So you find that agriculture is an important sector for us to increase income and improve, of course, food security. And right now, there is huge and significant potential in the agricultural processing across a number of crops. And we have grain. Uganda, interestingly, produces a variety of grain, from simsim to chia seeds. Coffee, we have tea, and the latest one is macadamia. There is opportunity for horticulture, livestock, and of course, dairy. The third area I would like to speak to is, of course, energy or renewable energy. The countries across East Africa are looking to expand power generation capacity in the coming decades. The conversation between Uganda and DR Congo are way advanced. Uganda imports quite a lot in terms of power within East Africa, exports to Kenya, to Rwanda, interestingly. And I do believe with strong government support, this opens the door for large-scale projects and creates the potential for improved power purchase agreements and cross-border trade, of course. And at the same time, there are large segments of the population that lack reliable access to grid power at the moment, opening opportunities for microgrid and off-grid solutions. We know where the world is headed at the moment, and I think within the region, Kenya is probably way advanced, but the huge opportunities for us as a country as far as power is concerned. The fourth would be aquaculture. And Uganda today has the largest freshwater lake, or prides itself to be have the largest freshwater lake in Africa. So fishing and fish processing would definitely provide a huge potential, with the fish export at the moment and fish meal becoming an increasingly significant part of our economy and exports at the moment. The last two would be mining, and for obvious reasons, I think we have discovered a number of minerals. I briefly touched that at the beginning, but investment opportunities exist in mining stone for the construction and building industry, phosphate for agriculture, salt for domestic and chemical uses. Of course, iron ore. Today, we have, I think, in terms of iron ore, quite a lot of opportunities to support the steel industry, not only in East Africa, but beyond. There's kaolin for leather, tanning, and pharmaceuticals. There's silica sand and trona for glass manufacture, exploration and development of mineral deposits, including oil, gold, copper, cobalt. I did mention some earlier on. The last at the moment, yes, at the moment is in the area of packaging or value addition. So the packaging industry today includes all forms of printed paper and plastic packaging. So wood, foil, and glass packaging would definitely come in handy. So it's a strategic subset.
Unfortunately, Grace, we seem to have lost your sound. Would you
Can you hear me
try?
now?
Yes, we can. Please proceed.
Okay. So the last one would be pharmaceuticals. And here we're looking at investment opportunities in the manufacture of drugs for the treatment of various tropical diseases. I did talk about the climate or how friendly the investment climate is. I've talked about population and the cost of labor. So we believe that the provision of modern family planning services and manufacture of medical equipment and sundries would definitely present an opportunity as far as Uganda is concerned. So a number of opportunities, but I'll just stop it there and just emphasize that, today the World Bank has forecasted that Uganda's imports are likely to see most growth after. And again, mainly in agriculture, in processed foods, in energy, in intensive manufacturing, wood and paper products, chemical, plastic products, and rubber. So I strongly believe that after, Ugandan businesses will be able to access a wider range of productive inputs from abroad, which is within across the continent, and households will have greater access to food and agricultural products as the population continues to grow. That said, Wangari, if you may allow me, is that the number of things that needs to be true for us to be able to realize this opportunity or to facilitate this trade, especially within East Africa and of course the rest of Africa. So right now, there is need for harmonization of customs and domestic taxes. I think it is known. Work has started and it's on and off, but there's need to have that completed. There's need to eliminate non-tariff barriers. There's need for standardization and harmonization of standards across the community and the rest of Africa. So when we're talking about grain between Uganda and Kenya, that there is a standard that goes beyond that. When you talk about dairy, and these are real examples that we have experienced in the past, that harmonization of standards would actually be helpful to bring all these opportunities to life or to realization. So allow me to stop here for now, and thank you. I'll be happy to answer any questions that come along.
Thank you very much, Grace. That indeed was quite insightful. And we do have some questions that have been raised already. We encourage all participants to continue to log in their questions into the Q&A. We will just answer 3 questions because you want to make sure that we give you the responses that you require. Suleiman, I hope you're ready to respond to this. I know you had responded to it in the chat, but it would be important for the benefit of all participants for you to just give us a response to this. So the question is, would Ecobank offer traders any loans to facilitate buying and business growth in the region? Would Ecobank offer traders any loans to facilitate buying and business growth in the region? Suleiman?
Well, thank you, Wangari. No, I've answered to the chat, but in essence, what we're saying is that by virtue of typically being on both sides of the transaction, if, for example, a trader in Uganda is looking to trade with a client in Kenya, typically we would have a presence in both countries, and being present would allow us to quickly do the right due diligence regarding the payment risk, the cross-border payment solution to put in place in order to make sure that the transaction is done very smoothly and both the buyer and the seller can actually, with confidence, close on the transaction. So the answer to that question is yes, and that's basically the value we bring by virtue of our network.
Perfect. And speaking of the network and the mission of the Pan-African Bank being financial inclusion, there's a question here on inclusivity. How has the initiative promoted inclusivity? People with disabilities, for example, because you're talking about 4 billion people, will everyone participate? This is from a participant in Uganda. Suleiman?
Sure, thanks. Yes, it's certainly, and by virtue of allowing SMEs to have a better participation in the businesses across the continent, the AFCFTA is actually leveling the playing field. We know that SMEs and micro SMEs are basically constituting more than 90% of the spectrum of businesses across the continent. And 50% of those SMEs are women-led, and we obviously have an impact on youth employment. So by virtue of allowing the SMEs to get into these value chains, being able to expand their market reach, we're also allowing them to have a better participation into the value creation, and by virtue of that, reducing any gap that we may have in terms of diversity and inclusion, including for women, obviously people with disabilities, the youth, and really improve on the general welfare of within the African continent.
Absolutely. Ecobank is all about empowering economies and empowering communities. Now, there's a question, the last question that we'll address before we introduce the next speaker. Could you, I think the question was on the onboarding program in Uganda, and the question really is relating to whether we are onboarding Ugandan traders, and this, I will respond to it and say, yes, we are, and you may register and self-onboard. There is a link that is currently in the chat section, tradehub.ecobank.com. The platform is live in Uganda and across all the 54 member countries of the AFCFTA. Now, speaking of member countries, it is important that we speak to one of our affiliates in the East African region, which is Tanzania. And we have the privilege of having the managing director himself to speak to us more about the Tanzanian market, the opportunities there, and what we are doing as Ecobank to empower the Tanzanian traders, economy, and communities. Charles, you're most welcome.
Thank you, Wangari. And thank you very much for the opportunity to share the story of Tanzania. Customers, distinguished customers, and potential customers here this morning. I think if the single market trade hub has any importance to any country in Africa, it must be Tanzania. And the reason is simple. Tanzania has a population of about 65 million people, a landmark of nearly 1 million square kilometers. GDP is getting closer to $80 billion, a very, very peaceful country, conducive for business. We have currently the only country probably in Africa with as many borders as 8. In the south, we have Mozambique, Malawi, and Zambia. In the west, we have DRC, Burundi, and Rwanda. Uganda is on the northwest. Kenya is on the northeast. And with Dar es Salaam Port, we serve about 5 countries that share border with us. This means that if you have operations in Tanzania, you are able to serve not less than 8 markets in Africa very easily. If there is any country that has managed post-COVID improvements, post-COVID growth It is Tanzania. We have a very stable macroeconomic environment. Recently, we have had a rating from Fitch and from Moody's giving Tanzania B+, an outlook very positive. This tells you that if you want to invest in Tanzania, there is a very high growth potential for your business. What the government is also trying to complement with these good stories about Tanzania is a lot of infrastructure projects trying to link Tanzania to the rest of Africa. So the EAC project, that's the 1,400 kilometer oil pipeline that is being built from Tanzania to Uganda. 1,000 of it is in Tanzania, and the remaining 400 in Uganda. We have the standard gauge railway lines coming from the east of the country all the way to the west and to the north. With Los 1 and 2 completed, 3 and 4 on the way. And once these are completed, you can see how goods and services will flow from Tanzania to the rest of Africa. Tanzania belongs to both EAC and SADC, which is a unique opportunity to serve 450 million population. So apart from the population of Tanzania itself, EAC and SADC being part of Tanzania gives you that wider coverage. And with Tanzania being a member of AfCFTA, the African Continental Free Trade Area, which was recently implemented, all businesses in Tanzania have got access to 41 markets in Africa, apart from the 33 network that Ecobank is currently present in. And in the first quarter of 2023, trade volumes alone among countries like Kenya, Rwanda, Uganda, and Burundi was around $1.1 billion. Now, this tells you that if your business is located in Tanzania, you have a great potential to serve. Now, what Ecobank has done is to open up the markets to everyone in Tanzania. In Dar es Salaam, we have the biggest East African market called Kariakoo. So every small business located in Kariakoo, with the trade hub that is now implemented for us, you are able to register your business, put your products out there, and someone in DRC, someone in Burundi, someone in Rwanda will connect to you. And the fact that we have the Dar es Salaam ports that give us opportunity to transport goods from the ports to all these countries means that when these trucks are going, you have a potential to load your goods on those trucks. And when they are in other countries, you have the opportunity to bring in goods to the country as well. Now, what is also bubbling so much in Tanzania in various sectors of the economy that are picking up so strongly? Mining sector is extremely important for us. It is today the leading foreign currency earner. We also know that the biggest mining company in the world, BHP, is setting up one of the biggest nickel producing sites in Tanzania. That is going to help to promote a lot. Several other gold mining companies are coming in. Tanzania has got one of the most robust manufacturing centers in Africa today. I think when the COVID kicked in and a lot of countries were struggling for grain, especially during the Russian-Ukraine war, bringing about logistic challenges, Tanzania remained one country to be almost self-sufficient in terms of grain supply and able to actually feed the rest of some countries in Africa as well. And in the commodities space, we have very strong cashew market, we have very strong coffee market, we have very strong legumes market that are being exported from here to different parts of the world. So what this platform is giving us today is that you don't need to look into Europe or America or China, but there are countries around us that may need these commodities that you really want to export to them. In terms of equipment, there are strong equipment assembling opportunities in Tanzania here. Locally, logistics companies are buying from within, but also the opportunity to export to other markets. Now, if you are out there and you want to come to establish a business in Tanzania, the country is welcoming a lot of investment opportunities in the country today. Tanzania Investment Center provides one-stop shop information and support to every investor that wants to come into the country. And you might have heard somewhere 2 years ago when the president herself was actually leading the promotion of Tanzania to the rest of the world. The CEOs of various companies were invited to be part of this, and Ecobank was one of the companies that actually supported that initiative. Due to this, what is being speculated and being rumored and being actualized in Tanzania today is that in the next 5 years, we expect to have not less than 5 billion investments in the country. So what Ecobank is potentially doing is bringing Tanzania to the rest of the world and the rest of the world to Tanzania with the trade hub that we have today. So what I want to say this morning is to encourage all businesses in Tanzania, log into this platform, register your business, put your products out there. And very, very, very confidently, I can tell you that there are people out there who are looking for you, all these products. We will match you with them, and you can sell seamlessly to them. There is a question that came that are we able to provide support, financial support for this? Absolutely, yes. This is the reason why we are doing this. Once you get a buyer out there, Ecobank is there to provide that support from that angle. So you are not just selling, but you are also assured that when you sell, there's a financial platform backing the whole transaction so that you are assured of getting your money to your account very safely in Ecobank. And I believe that this is the story that Ecobank brings to Africa, that with us, we are really cementing the financial integration objectives of the country. And I strongly encourage, once again, everyone, please log into this platform, register your business. And those of you who want to do business in Tanzania, please come to Tanzania. It's one of the most homely places you can find to do your business. Wangari, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Charles, for inviting us to Tanzania. And I have a fun fact about Tanzania as well that can make more people want to come there. Tanzania has the largest population of lions. 40% of the world's populations of lions is in Tanzania. I don't know what that has to do with trade. Maybe somebody has lion shampoo or, I don't know, products that can benefit the lions, but it would be worthwhile sharing that fact. So thank you very much for letting us know about the opportunities that are there in Tanzania. And we, asante sana for that. Good. Next up, we are going to hear from Samuel Odhiambo, who is the director, the executive director at Ecobank Kenya. He is going to let us know more about the trade opportunities that are there in the powerhouse or the power affiliate that is Kenya. You're most welcome, Samuel.
Thank you. Thank you, Wangari. Good morning, partners and customers of Ecobank and friends of Ecobank, my colleagues and MDs for various Ecobank countries. I don't know whether I will give a speech or I'll just give a story about how business has evolved in East Africa and how what is happening today in the Ecobank single trade hub used to happen before technology. But some interesting things that I've learned is one, and that I can dream in my lifetime, probably Kenya will soon get all its oil and petroleum supplies from Uganda. If that could happen in our life, then I know 70 or 40% of the pressure that the shilling has on against the dollar today will go off. MD Tanzania, a very interesting thing about Kenya being northeast of Tanzania. Kenya and Tanzania share a very long border. I don't know whether they're from the center of Lake Victoria. You go through Mara, you come to Arusha near Nairobi, and you go down into Tanga is still northeast of Tanzania as you pass through Moshi, but it is good to know. So my experience of trade in East Africa is a very interesting one. I recall the days when you would get Sindano rice from Mwanza, and if you are a visitor in Nairobi, you would get the Mara beef from Arusha area in Tanzania, and it tastes different from the Borana beef that you will get in Kenya. And if you get beef across the lake, the Ankole beef from Uganda, again, it tastes different. So what used to happen in those days is then that you would have to walk. If you wanted to buy the Sindano rice from Mwanza in Tanzania, you would probably have to spend 2 days, 3 days to go. And sometimes you arrive there, you don't find the person who told you, I will sell for you. The beef is no longer there anymore. And so you spend another 1 week looking for an alternative supply. And it used to happen again for those who used to get beef, the Ankole beef from Uganda. And so you would sometimes go, there's a marketplace on a Thursday, but you arrive on a Thursday, there's no beef. So you spend another 1 week up the north in Uganda waiting for the next market day. That's how trade it used to happen in East Africa. And it used to happen including supplies of sesame. If I may tell our customers from Uganda, we say a lot of sesame that has been eaten in Kenya over the years has actually come from Nambale Busia border. And so that's how trade used to happen. And so what we as Ecobank Group are doing in our single trade app today is basically to make what used to happen in that very crude, simple way. Of course, the old days were better because no one would complain spending 1 more week in Entebbe as you wait for the beef. It was also a fun moment for the traders then. We have just made it more efficient, reliable, to do business in the modern way, basically to match make that tradition that we've kept as East African. So coming to Kenya, Kenya is a country that is considered as a gateway into East Africa for the simple reason that we host the port here, which then serves a lot of inland into the East African state. We are a country of 53 million people, GDP of 110 billion US dollars, very much a part of Africa in terms of the laws and regulations which have been relaxed to allow everyone walk into this country and you become a citizen. A citizen, you can be a corporate citizen doing business in East Africa. With that economy of 110 billion US dollars, we see ourselves as a very important part of the Africa's GDP of about 3 trillion US dollars. And maybe as I go in, I would want to acknowledge that among the participants today, I've seen people from Germany. I've also seen a few from North America, and I've seen some guests who have logged in from India. I've seen some guests who have logged in from Middle East. So I think when we talk about single trade app, one, it puts the ecosystem of the US dollars 3 trillion, that is the estimate GDP of Africa, the population of Africa of about 1.4 billion, into the world space of that GDP of about 96 trillion US dollars, that world population space of 7.8 billion. That's what we are trying to create here. So it's preparing Africa as partners of other Africans, but also preparing Africa as a strong partner in the global space. In Kenya, our GDP of 110 billion US dollars is driven through agriculture, transport and storage, real estate, manufacturing, there's financial services, and there's education, and there's tourism. So a few of the opportunities that I'm really going to talk about today revolves around that space. And as I come into it, it is basically to do that tradition that we had as East African in this modern way. So when you look at the focus priorities for Kenya today, it is to expand the domestic food production. And we would want to say that as a member of the EAC community, a member of AFTA and African countries, when we expand domestic food production, we are looking at opportunities through which then we can supplement that from neighboring and sister nations like Tanzania, Uganda. So some of the easiest opportunities that Kenya and anyone in East Africa can do with Kenya is look at how much of that system, how much of that green grams, how much of that legume you can cross the border with and help us and bring a trust into Kenya. Or on the reverse side of that, for us in Kenya is that we have invested a lot in the manufacturing space. And so the processed food stuff and the packed food stuff, you can easily get them across the border from Kenya. Be based in Tanzania, Uganda, Juba up, and even crossing over into Kigali and DRC East. So you can get that from our country in Kenya, and the rules and the transport infrastructure is very good. We are keen very much on ICT, and a lot of the ICT are now hubbed in Kenya, and with any service that you would want to do in the ICT space, digital market space, you don't need to fly all the way to India, or you don't need to go all the way to India to get. We have a lot of ICT firms, innovative firms, which are able to support you on that. One that I would end with is the tourism and the blue economy space. A lot of focus our government has put on that. And this is creating a very good opportunity for the tourist circuit in East Africa. So Kenya is very keen on looking at how do the tourists who come to visit us in the coast of Kenya from Lamu, how do they enjoy the coastal strip ecotourism to Dar es Salaam to Zanzibar? For those who come into the center of Kenya around the Lake Victoria tourist circuit, how can they come and enjoy the side of Kenya but go down into Entebbe, come to Bukoba, come to Mwanza, and leave satisfied that they have really enjoyed a tropical lake environment, which is our Lake Victoria. And for the tourists who come into Mara, how do you enjoy Serengeti? How do you enjoy Mara? And then you come back into the mountains, Arusha and Mount Kenya tourist circuit. So very interesting linkages that we offer in that package. There is so much more that I would talk about. I will end here, but I would tell you how the seafood in Zanzibar tastes from that of Mombasa, and how the fish in Entebbe and the one in Kenya tastes, because they are fed by different rivers. So also let's travel and enjoy this. Sometimes when we talk about trade, we think it is the packaged goods, but we forget the social and the tradition of East Africa, which was to cross the border, interact with each other, and really create this as a way of human relationship and friendliness, the neighbors that we are. So thank you, Charles. I can confirm that Tanzania is very peaceful. Anytime I cross the border, I feel so much at peace, and then I also feel at home. So thank you very much. Enjoy the day. Come into the single hub. If my grandfather was to be awake from his grave today, I would tell him, today you don't have to go to Ankole and spend 2 weeks to get beef. There's a system to do that much better, much easier. Thank you, and enjoy your day. Thank you, Wangari. Let me take it back to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much to the Executive Director of Ecobank Kenya. Indeed, trade is not just about the business elements, it's also about the social elements. So thank you for pointing us in the right direction of where to enjoy our fish, where to enjoy our beef, and where to enjoy, communing with our brothers and sisters across the EAC region. Colleagues and participants, we have learned a lot today. We have learned about the power and empowerment that Ecobank is bringing through this new single market trade hub, especially for the affiliates in the cluster. I see that we have a lot of questions here. We'll try to run through them quite quickly. There were some questions on settlement. So Suleiman, I hope you are ready to respond to this. Are you looking to introduce payment and settlement services in the future?
Yes, actually, we've clarified that the platform is non-transactional. However, once a match is made, our products and services are obviously available, and they are already available both in across East Africa and across the continent, wherever we are present across the 33 countries. And that presence, again, is also allowing us to really leverage on those operations to really afford and put those cross-border payment solution in place. I've also, it's probably worth mentioning that Ecobank is also a member of the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System, as promoted by Afrexim Bank, which is also to reduce dependencies on hard currencies and really rely more on our local currencies. And in that framework, we've also developed a solution, which is a collection solution called Rapid Collect, which would basically allow clients from one single Pan-African account to collect payments from various clients across other countries. So these are solutions that are available, and I would encourage all participants to really engage us through their relationship managers so that we can devise and direct them through the relevant solutions. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that response. We have another question here. How would Ecobank assist participants to navigate the different tax regimes and currency variations prevailing across the markets?
Yes, basically, we've made the choice to partner with the authority in this frame, which is the AFCFTA Secretariat. So if you navigate into the single market trade hub, you would also get through the resource tab, you'd also get direct access to the AFCFTA Secretariat, which would also have all the relevant information in terms of applicable tariffs across goods and services. So we made it a point to really make sure that we direct our customers and non-customers to the right source, and based on those information, then they can navigate and be able to successfully trade under the AFCFTA.
Perfect. Thank you, Suleiman. There is a question on whether the recording will be available. I'll answer that one. Yes, we will avail the recording to you after the session. We will also be sharing information on country representatives whom you can reach out to, and they can help you with registering your business on the Trade Hub. So do look out for follow-up communication from us on both the recording as well as who you can reach out to in country. There is a question here about whether the Trade Hub is local, regional, or worldwide. I'll answer that one very enthusiastically and say the Trade Hub is available across Africa within the 33 African countries where Ecobank is present. So we are really taking advantage of our trade network advantage. Boniface Mwalili asks, can the Trade Hub provide a listing of trade fairs or expos in the various countries to facilitate enhanced market access for traders?
Yes, we thank the participant for this suggestion, which is a great one. So we will certainly consider it. But having said that, I would like to point out that the Trade Hub is also already a virtual trade fair. By virtue of having as many buyers and sellers display either the goods or services they have on demand or those that they have on offer, we basically create a dynamic and virtual trade fair, as opposed to a trade fair that would be held on specific date, on specific location. So we find that based on our customer base, 30 million customers across the continent, if we are able to really foster their registration into this Trade Hub, then we would definitely foster intra-Africa trade and reduce the information asymmetry. So great for the suggestion, which we'll consider and see how we can feature those trade fair. But certainly it would be of great help if as many African businesses as possible register, so that we have also this virtual marketplace already in place.
Perfect. Omar, please, can you help us with answering whether the Trade Hub will cater for quality assurance for the products on the marketplace?
Thank you, Wangari. So as Suleiman mentioned, the Trade Hub is non-transactional. However, what we can do is that our relationship manager can advise you on which type of product you can use to basically ensure that you protect yourselves. And typically we have trade products like letter of credits, where you can include terms that will protect you and ensure that the quality of the product is as per your requirements. So because it is non-transactional, any transaction that will happen outside of the platform, as you would do on a regular basis, and we are more than ready to assist you and advise you on which products you can use, which trade solutions you can use to protect yourselves.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Omar. Participants, we have come to the end of the Single Market Trade Hub webinar. We see that you have many questions that you have put in the Q&A, some of which have been answered. Those that remain open will also be answered, and we will be able to share with you the full questions and answers on email. As I had said, we are looking forward to continuing this relationship with those of you who are not yet part of the Ecobank family. We will be reaching out to you, helping you to understand the Trade Hub more, helping you to understand the opportunities that the Free Continental Trade Area opens up to us, and helping you to also understand how Ecobank can empower and help you to grow your business across EAC and also across the 33 markets in which we are present. Now, I have had the distinct pleasure of being your very enthusiastic and passionate host. I just want to thank all of you for being a part of this webinar and making it a huge success. We would also like to ask you to please register. Let's make this Single Market Trade Hub an active one. Let's introduce you to other traders across Africa. Let's take your products beyond the borders and take them to areas where you may not have even thought that you would reach. There is a big opportunity in Africa. Please look out for the link in the chat so you can be able to access the Trade Hub. Please look out in the chat as well for the country representatives that you can reach out to immediately, and they can help you navigate the platform and get your products and services out into the rest of Africa. I would like to thank all of our speakers today for very insightful contributions. We have learned a lot indeed about the East African community. Thank you to our trade experts, Humphrey, Omar, and Suleiman, for really taking us through what the empowerment of this new African Single Market Trade Hub means for us. Thank you very much for that time. Thank you to all of those who organized this webinar. Thank you especially also to those who are in West Africa and other areas outside of EAC. We know that it is truly very early for you where you are. So we truly appreciate your time. To all participants, all Ecobankers, all prospective Ecobankers, all traders, all Pan-Africans, all East Africans on the platform today, thank you very much for joining us, and we look forward to helping you in the future. Have a very wonderful Friday. I think it was the best day to pick to have this webinar. So do enjoy your weekend, and let's continue to make Africa a great place. And Ecobank, the Pan-African Bank, is here for you. Thank you very much, and do enjoy the rest of your Friday.